All right, welcome to the third video of this mini series about corporate level strategies. And on this series, I want to talk about different corporate strategies that I did not cover in the previous two videos. So the first one is called cooperative relationships, and basically this is when two companies use a long-term relationships or investments into some of the activities normally performed by suppliers or buyers in order to establish a relationship of quasi-integration. What does this mean? Well, quasi-integration basically means that two companies have such a long relationship that even though there is no, company A owns company B, but because they've been working together for so many years, there's a relationship of trust, and there's a relationship of actually partnership indeed. What does that mean? It means that, for example, even though company A has no shares on company B, they might decide to invest because they know if they make their company better, they're going to be able also to reap the benefits out of that. So typically this is done through the establishment of long-term contracts. Some countries are more keen on this strategy than others, and typically we see countries, for example in Asia, that tend to have more long-term relationships between businesses to use this type of strategy rather than countries, for example, in the West. Another one is called competitive bidding. I would say this is the complete opposite of long-term relations, which is when you put different suppliers competing and to supply to you what you need. Like, for example, the government uses competitive bidding for construction projects, and then basically they publish the requirements of the construction project, and the company that gives the lowest bid is the one that wins that contract. So typically we do this when we have situations where you can define very clearly what is it that you want from your supplier. Now this is linked to the next topic, which is short-term contracts, because a lot of times this competitive bidding is done, for example, on every year, or is done in order to achieve a contract. But then after that contract is done, another bidding would be in progress. So typically short-term contracts, they last for a year or less, and does not really result in specialized investments by one or the other company because there's no long-term relationship here. But this therefore is the point that if a company is doing this type of contracts, it signals that is not interested in establishing this type of relationship with the supplier or with the client, and therefore I would say be careful with it. Again, it really depends on the situation, on the industry, and on the company. And for some industries, for example, it's very normal that short-term contracts would be used, especially if the demand conditions are very unstable, or if there's a lot of technological change or a lot of uncertainty. Another strategy I want to point out is strategic alliances. Now this is long-term agreements as well, but between two or more companies, and they decide to work together on new products or on new processes. And this is something that is very used on the airline industry. For example, Star Alliance is an example of a strategic alliance where you can still collect points or miles, for example, by traveling with a variety of businesses, and they share the resources and they share the revenues of these shared resources, or the shared planes in this case. And why is that? Well, because it's much cheaper and much more profitable if two companies, for example, want to go to a certain destination, but they know they would only have the plane, for example, half full. Now if they cooperate, they only have to send one plane, and that means half of the costs, but the profit would therefore be much higher, and that's why they do it. Now there's advantages, there's disadvantages as well, and strategic alliances should be used when there is a way to monitor or to check on the other members' activities as well. So in terms of checking your other members' activities, one of the techniques that many companies use, especially at the beginning of long-term relationships, or what they want to be a long-term relationship, is to do what we call hostage taking. Now, hostage taking is the exchange of valuable resources between the two companies that guarantees that each partner will agree or would follow the agreement they have. Sometimes this can be, for example, exchange of key personnel, like two directors, for example, that switch. Director from company A goes to company B, director from company B comes to company A, or exchange of physical assets as well. Another one is to have a credible commitment, like a contract, for example. This is a believable promise or a pledge to support the development of a long-term relationship between the companies. Again, but it's only a credible commitment in some countries if it's in written, but in others, credible commitment might be just a verbal agreement, but it will really depend on what type of country we're talking about. So to summarize, there's many alternatives to corporate strategies rather than just vertical or horizontal integration. Okay, this is just some smaller topics I wanted to cover. But on the last video, we're going to talk about something that is also very well used in terms of corporate strategies, which will be outsourcing. All right, thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know if you have any questions. In the meantime, I'll see you on the next video.